My name is Kyle Kramer, and I'm an aspiring writer and filmmaker. In my first attempt at making a film, GK Abridged, I made a mistake that cost me almost 2 years. I assumed I could get actors. I didn't just give up, and I made the would-be making of GK Abridged, which you can check out if you're interested. But I've decided that subsequent films will be shorter and easier to produce. I came up with the term Trunc, T-R-U-N-C, in an attempt to be original. Truncate means shortened, so it stands to reason that trunk would mean short, even though it isn't actually a word. I've written 5 trunks, including the following. 3 are based on full-length concepts, and 2 are just scenes with superficial plots. The reason this is the first to be finished is that I did it all by myself, no actors necessary. This trunk provides background information on a story called The Velvet Cloak. It has some sentimental value because it was the first story I came up with that actually had some potential. I wrote the first version when I was about 8 years old. Back then it was a much, much simpler idea, but after revisions spanning 10 years, I've arrived at the following. Over 100 years ago, my grandfather's grandfather first came to the land of the Phoenix. He was a young captain in Kindek's fleet sent to conquer. The war lasted 10 years. Scores were lost on both sides, but there was never a decisive victory. My grandfather's grandfather became governor of the occupying force soon before the Chief Phoenix's courage ended the war. Alone and unarmed, the chief went to the governor. He presented the velvet cloak that has since been worn by every Chief Phoenix. But what truly changed the heart of the governor was the chief's offer. You see, according to the tradition of the people of the Phoenix, Chief Phoenix is succeeded upon death by the person he or she deems most fit. Should Chief Phoenix want another to rule, he or she must first die. Chief Phoenix's offer to my grandfather's grandfather was this: "Come with me to my home, where I shall name you my successor. I will then give my life, and you will be Chief Phoenix. Rule my people justly, and it will be so." Moved, the governor instead drafted a proposal to the Emperor of Kindek, that the land of the Phoenix should be ruled jointly by the Chief Phoenix and Kindekan governor, that diplomacy replaced violence. And so it was. My grandfather's grandfather took a woman of the Phoenix as his wife, and with her had a son. Growing into a strong and wise man, that son earned the respect of the Chief Phoenix and was named his successor. When he died, his son, my grandfather, became Chief Phoenix. In Kindek, a new High Lord, leader of the army, came to power. It was his belief that my grandfather was not loyal to the Empire. He petitioned the Council of War to allow him to retake the governorship. And so the fires of war burned again. This time the High Lord took 2/3 of the continent from the people of the Phoenix before being halted at Cyberthea. My grandfather was slain. Since, tensions prevail, but open conflict has ceased. We have slowly and quietly built up our strength. We are ready to retake our country. I am Tildane, 477th Chief Phoenix. Over 100 years ago, my grandfather's grandfather was High Lord, as I am today. It was his order that sent the fleet that founded the richest colony in this nation's long history. That colony was under control, and it was a mistake for my predecessor to attack it. However, what's done is done. Counselors, Emperor, there are 2 available courses of action: wipe the natives out, or abandon the country to them. Not to do so would be to invite bloodshed upon us. And who should be victor in that contest none but time can tell.